You'll raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give the court on the issue now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and so help you God.
I swear.
Please have a seat for me. Once seated, if you would please state and spell your true and correct legal name for the record.
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Mark Gasque, that's Markgasque. I work for the Cobb County Police Department.
Wonderful. How long have you been a sergeant for Cobb County Police?
10 years.
Right, and how many years total have you been with Cobb County Police?
19.
Right, are you post-certified?
I am.
I want to jump right into November 18th of 2021. Where were you assigned at that point in time as a sergeant?
I was a sergeant in our Major Crimes Homicide Division.
And what are the job responsibilities of a sergeant with major crimes?
You triage the calls that come in. Obviously, you handle and delegate the case assignments, and then obviously you monitor the investigation as it goes through.
Are you still a detective as a sergeant with major crimes?
I am, yes, ma'am.
So you do detective work as well as supervising?
I do.
Okay. And as part of the supervision responsibilities you have, does that include crime scene technicians?
Yes, when I was in homicide, the crime scene technicians fall underneath the sergeants of the unit.
Were you working back on November 18th of 2021?
I was.
All right, and at that point in time, do you recall what your hours were just in terms of days versus evenings?
I worked the day shift.
Now, was that a weekday?
It was.
So were you actually in the office on November 18th of 2021?
Yes, I was.
Did you get a call regarding 5059 Verbena Drive?
Yeah, I believe it was just before 10 a.m. that morning.
Is that here in Cobb County?
It is.
All right, what did you do upon receiving notification of a call coming from 5059 Verbena Drive?
So when you receive a call like that, and obviously this one was involving 2 deaths, so it's a little bit larger of a response, you begin delegating. First, you assign who's going to be your primary detective, who's going to be his secondary, which crime scene technicians are going to go, who's typing search warrants. You just start laying out a plan.
How many detectives worked under you approximately back in 2021?
On day shift, I believe we were between 10 and 12 of us.
And typically, are really all 10 to 12 of you working on the case at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. In this particular case, who was assigned to the lead agent?
Detective Standard.
Did you actually respond to the scene that day?
I did.
All right, and prior to taking the stand today, did you and I have the opportunity to go through crime scene photos?
Yes, we did.
And was that taken by someone you supervised as the crime scene technician?
Correct. I was the crime scene supervisor that day.
Very good. And so prior to testifying, did you look at State's Exhibits 10 through 305?
Yes.
Okay, and all of those have previously been shown to defense counsel. Are all of those photos true and accurate photographs of the scene as you observed it on November 18th of 2021?
They are.
Statements to tender State's Exhibit 10 through 305.
Any objection?
No objection.
States 10 through 305 are admitted.
Very good. And may I begin publishing?
Yes.
All right, we won't go through every single one of these, but there's your little, here, here.
Some of these are duplicious.
Okay, thank you.
Similar.
All right, and so noted for the record.
All right, so starting here with State's Exhibit 10, what is being documented in State's 10?
This is the mailbox to show the physical address of the home.
State's Exhibit 12 here. What is this walkway we're looking at in State's 12?
This is the sidewalk leading from the driveway we were just looking at around to the front door of the home.
Now we can see here, kind of in the Pine Straw area, ADT security. Was there an ADT security system?
Yes, there was, and it was actively monitored, an active account.
And was that like a video surveillance system or just an alarm system?
Just an alarm system.
State's Exhibit 13, what are we looking at here?
This is the front door of the home.
State's Exhibit 15, what am I pointing out in State's Exhibit 15 on the door frame?
That's a Nest doorbell camera.
Now, were you able to determine whether there was any active storage or footage from that front doorbell camera?
We were, and there was not. It was a live only viewing subscription, so no stored data.
State's Exhibit 17. What am I pointing at in State's Exhibit 17?
That's a newspaper beside the mailbox.
I'm looking at State's 19 here. Did it have the date of that newspaper?
Correct. Thursday, November 18th, so the morning we were out there.
So obviously not been picked up.
Correct.
State's Exhibit 20. What type of truck do we see in the driveway?
That's a Ford F-150.
Is it customary to take kind of 360-degree angle of vehicles that are in or within premises?
Yes, it is.
State's Exhibit 22, is that one of those photographs?
Correct, of the same truck.
State's 23.
And that would be the other side of the truck.
Then State's 24.
And the rear of the truck.
All right. Was there any damage that you noted to this vehicle?
No.
State's Exhibit 25 here. What are we looking at in State's 25?
So this would be the garage doors directly behind that truck, and then a side door to the home just past that flag.
State's Exhibit 27.
Yep, and we're continuing down that sidewalk just past the garage doors to that side door.
The side door, is that what I'm pointing at on the
Correct.
right-hand side?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 28 here. Is this a kind of straight-on view of that side door?
Correct, as if we're continuing down the sidewalk.
Up in this corner near that side door, is there another sort of camera?
Yes, I believe that was another Nest camera, and then also live view only, so no paid subscription.
Now, State's Exhibit 29 here. Do you recall whether this door was locked or unlocked?
It was locked, yes.
And State's Exhibit 30, what was to the left side of that door?
A delivered package.
State's Exhibit 32, what side of the house are we on now?
I believe you'd be on the south side of the house, so this is continuing past the door we were at, so the side of the driveway.
And what do we see up in the corner of the house?
That's a motion floodlight.
State's Exhibit 33.
That's continuing around the side of the home we were just looking at, so now we're in the backyard.
State's Exhibit 34.
Again, continuing around toward the back door of the home and the patio.
State's Exhibit 35.
And that would be the back patio, so we're looking straight at the rear of the home.
State's Exhibit 36.
That's a sunroom, or I believe it was the playroom for Jacob, and where their Christmas tree was inside that room.
Now, is it customary to kind of continue taking photos all the way around the house?
It is, yes ma'am.
So State's Exhibit 37, are we making our way further around the house?
Correct.
State's Exhibit 39 is continuing to walk the perimeter of the home.
Yes ma'am.
And State's Exhibit 41, where is this vantage point?
So now we would be on the north side of the home, looking toward the front of the home there.
Now we're going to focus on that kind of rear patio area. Was there any other damage on the exterior of this home, with the exception that of the window we're about to focus on?
No.
Now looking at State's Exhibit 42 here, did this door go into the residence?
It went into a sunroom area.
Was that locked?
It was locked, yes.
Looking at State's 43, was there another door kind of directly across from the sunroom door?
Yes, going into the child's playroom area.
And was that door locked?
Yes, it was locked.
And was there any damage that you all observed to either of those doors, like pry marks or anything, to indicate there had been attempted entry even at those doors?
No, there was not.
Looking now at State's Exhibit 44, where was kind of the focus of you all's investigation?
Okay, yeah, the one point of entry that we could find was the broken window right there to the right of that rear patio door.
Now, at the time that the crime scene, that you're supervising and going through the scene as well as documenting the scene with your crime scene technician, have law enforcement already made entry?
Yes, they have. I believe they cleared the home multiple times.
And so with some of the glass that's broken out actually from law enforcement?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 47, what's being documented in State's Exhibit 47?
It's a little closer up, obviously, of the window and of that Adirondack chair that's sitting there and some of the glass shards on the ground.
State's Exhibit 48.
More of the shattered glass from the window.
State's Exhibit 49.
And then continuing just to zoom in on the glass.
Looking at State's Exhibit 53 here, what side of the Adirondack are we on?
We're on the back side of it now, so our back would be to the home.
All right, and just for reference purposes, looking at that kind of white scratch, looking at State's 54, what are we looking at there?
That's a shard of glass from the broken window.
And is that kind of zoom in from the previous exhibit of State's 53?
It is.
Could you see any sort of like marking or pattern on some of the glass? State's Exhibit 55.
Yeah, continuing now, we've zoomed out from that glass just to show that broken window from a different angle.
Now going to State's Exhibit 57 there. At the time that you all were documenting this, is this how the blinds were, kind of like propped on that cat?
Yes, that's how they were when we arrived.
When you say we, you mean like detectives?
Detectives, yes, sorry. The crime scene unit.
State's Exhibit 58.
All right, yeah, we're zooming in obviously on the glass. You can see here that's a double pane window, which explains the large amount of glass that we're looking at, and then showing some of the shattered glass inside as well.
State's Exhibit 60 here, what are we looking at?
Now we're inside the home, inside Jacob's playroom, looking back out that broken window.
And what do we have here on the left-hand side?
We have a Christmas tree.
State's Exhibit 61. Is there glass on top of Jacob's little bench there?
Yes, there is.
State's Exhibit 63. What is kind of the vantage point here?
So this is a lower shot with the crime scene technician kind of squatting down, looking back out the window.
State's Exhibit 64.
That's a large amount of glass shards just inside the window on the floor.
State's Exhibit 66. What door are we looking at here in the right upper corner?
So when we were looking at the exterior photos, when you looked at the window, that's the door that was to the left of it. So going into the playroom there, but that's an exterior door.
Was there any glass in front of that door?
Yes, we had glass shards coming in from the window there through the playroom. And that door was locked as well.
State's Exhibit 70.
Now we're looking at that door. So we've zoomed out. You see Jacob's bench right there to the left. So that's the exterior door to the patio.
Looking at State 72 here, what was on that patio door?
It's a child's lock, which I believe we saw on every exterior door of the home.
State's Exhibit 73.
Now this is the front door of the residence.
All right, State's Exhibit 76. What do we see in State's Exhibit 76?
Okay, so now I'm standing, this is back to that broken window. So the Christmas tree would be off to the right there and looking into the living room. Obviously we have a child's gate that appeared that would have been closing off the playroom from the living room that was knocked over. And some toys lying on top of it and a cell phone on top of it.
What do we see in this area in front of the fireplace?
And so another baby gate that appeared as if it had been placed around the fireplace but had been moved.
State's Exhibit 77. You mentioned some toys and phones. Is that depicted in State 77 on top of the baby gate?
Correct, it is.
In State 78, we'll circle back to this, but the black item here on State 78.
Yeah, we learned that to be Justin's cell phone.
So that was like an actual real cell phone, not some sort of toy.
Correct.
State's Exhibit 79. What do we see in State 79?
So now we're looking into the living room from the playroom toward the fireplace and that baby gate.
State's Exhibit 80.
Now we're looking at the couch, so just to the left of the fireplace.
State's Exhibit 221.
Now we're looking at Justin and Amber Hicks, deceased, in the living room. If you look directly behind them is the illuminated Christmas tree, and just to the right of that would be the window, the broken window.
And so from where Amber is there on the couch, without moving, would she have been able to see the window?
It does not appear so, no. It should be back behind that wall, tucked in there. Correct, right back there.
State's Exhibit 222.
This is Justin Hicks.
State's Exhibit 223.
It's another angle of Justin.
Okay, and what is it that was on Justin's lap there?
It's a child's toy airplane.
Now, from where, let me back up just a minute here. Going back to State's 221 here, had Justin been standing kind of relatively where his feet would have been, or are in this picture in State's 221, would you then have been able to have some vantage point of the window in the playroom?
Yes, if you'd have looked off to his right shoulder, you'd have to turn to look to his right shoulder.
Going back to State 223 there. Was that like a paper airplane or an actual like plastic?
No, that's a plastic acrylic child's airplane that obviously had been placed there after Justin had fallen.
And why is it that it would have been placed there after Justin had fallen?
I don't see a way it could have stayed where it is if he'd have been standing up. It was not attached to him.
State's Exhibit 224 here. What are we looking at?
That's a closer up look and looking at the amount of blood that's on Justin.
State's Exhibit 225.
Now we're looking at Justin's hands.
State's 226.
This would be Justin's left leg, and then obviously just to the side of there you see a Fisher-Price fire truck.
There's some other pictures of that we'll circle back to. Now looking at States, so going from States 226 here to States 227, what is it that y'all have now zoomed into?
That's a broken shard of glass just off the rug there in the living room.
States 228. What is this item that's on the rug kind of in front of the ottoman?
It's a child's train whistle, which you blow in, mimics the sound of a train.
Zooming in there, States 229, what was located near that child's train whistle?
We have some more broken glass.
States 230, is that a zoom in of that same piece of glass?
It is.
States 231. What are we looking at here?
Now this would be standing obviously on the other side of Justin, standing over him. Shows how that plane is lying there lightly on his shorts. You can see the fire truck and another toy at his feet.
I'm looking at States 232 here, as well as States 233. What have y'all zoomed in on in those images?
It's what appeared to be a fresh cut on the inside of his thigh.
Going back to States 229 here, could you tell whether that was possibly, and I know that it doesn't portray as well on it, I'll know, but whether there was any possible blood stains near some of the shards of glass?
Possible. Obviously, we when you're working a scene like that, we swab and process everything that we think could possibly appear to be blood.
States Exhibit 234, what are we looking at here?
Now again, we've kind of moved a little bit more over Justin, showing the back of his head and the right side of his body now.
And what is behind his head?
No, we have a blood stain on the couch.
States 235, what do we see here kind of in the middle of the photograph?
No, another blood stain on Justin's shirt.
And States Exhibit 236, was there any sort of defect that was noted on
Correct.
the shirt?
Yeah, in the middle or in the area of that blood stain is some sort of hole.
States Exhibit 237, did you see any other defects on his clothing?
Yes, right there on his right arm, right shoulder area.
States Exhibit 238, is that a zoom in of that same shoulder area?
It is.
Looking at States 240, did you all also zoom into the area behind his head?
We did.
305.
10,
305.
305.
10 to 305 is what the court admitted. Yes.
Now looking at states 243 here, who is kind of the focus of your attention in these next several photos?
This is Amber Hicks.
States 244. Can you describe kind of the positioning of her body here?
She's lying, her body's on the couch, her feet and her legs are on an movable ottoman. She's partially covered by the blanket there. And obviously you can see her arms down by her side.
And what is this orange object that we can see by her legs?
It's a small ball, a child's toy. And then we also have the monster truck on the other side of her leg.
States 246, is that kind of zooming in on both the ball as well as the monster truck?
It is.
States Exhibit 247 here.
Now we're standing at Amber's feet looking toward her head.
And on the left side, kind of underneath the blanket, what is that?
That would be her other leg.
Is her leg kind of tucked under that blanket?
It is.
States 248, what are we looking at here?
Again, now we're moving more to the left here. We can still see the ball, the monster truck. You can see the defect in Amber's right arm right there and the glasses down off of her face.
States Exhibit 250, how close was that ball to her hand?
Inches? Yeah, maybe 6 inches, maybe.
States Exhibit 251, did she have glasses?
She did.
States 252, is that kind of zooming in on her glasses?
It is, yeah. They were obviously not sitting naturally on her face how she would be wearing them. It appeared they'd either been pulled down from her face or had fallen from her face.
When you say pulled down, like from Jacob? Or?
Yes, from Jake, that was my assumption. With the amount of toys that was on her, that was my assumption.
Looking at states 254 here, what are we looking at in states 254?
That's a defect from a projectile in Amber's right arm.
States 255, what was being documented in states 255?
The blood on the couch coming from Amber.
Now, being there in person, looking at states 256, could you tell whether there was any like coagulated blood or kind of thicker amounts of blood?
Yes, you could. That's typically what we would see from coming from someone's head.
And is that what's documented in 256?
It is.
States 258, what vantage point is states 258 taken from?
This is standing in the kitchen, looking out, or with your back to the kitchen, looking out over the couch toward the fireplace.
States Exhibit 260, that kind of a better image of some of that coagulated blood.
It is. Again, this is standing with your back to the kitchen, looking over the couch.
States Exhibit 265. Could you tell whether there was any defects in her shirt?
Yes, there is one, and obviously a large amount of blood. That's in her abdomen area.
items were close to Amber's hand from the couch?
Her cell phone is there. Obviously, there's a water cup, and then we see a baby monitor on the other side of the pillow.
Was that a video baby monitor?
It was.
Okay. Now, was it the kind that you have like a SIM card or some sort of subscription that you can go back on, or just
No, just a live feed.
Now, is it customary, again, when documenting the scene, to start moving the decedent so that you can better photograph some of the evidence?
It is, yes, ma'am.
Now, is that process also documented?
It is.
All right, looking at states 273 here, explain what we're looking at in states 273.
Okay, so we're looking at, obviously this is Amber's body with her shirt pulled up. We still see the defect there in her right arm. You see an abrasion on her stomach right there. And then a projectile is lying between her right arm and her right hip.
States 274, is that a close-up of that projectile?
It is.
And was that projectile collected?
It was.
I want to show you what I've already shown. Defense counsel, states exhibit 600. Do you recognize state 600?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how is it that you recognize state 600?
It is marked as the projectile collected on couch next to Amber Hicks.
And is that what we see in the image on the screen, which is states exhibit 274?
Yes.
State moves to tender states exhibit 600 into evidence.
Any objection? State 600 is admitted.
States exhibit 275, what are you all starting to kind of focus on?
Now we're showing, obviously, the area around Amber there, showing the baby monitor, the monster truck, the toys.
States exhibit 277. Is that a zoom in of that baby monitor?
It is.
Now looking at states 284 here, where are we standing?
Now we're standing just at the feet of Amber inside the couch, the L-shaped couch there, looking back toward the playroom, which is where the entry point is.
Okay. And at this point, had some of the items been marked?
They had been, yes.
Okay. In particular, what was states exhibit, or I'm sorry, not states exhibit, the crime scene exhibit 1, or which had the number 1 marker?
Justin Hicks' cell phone.
Looking at states 289 here, did you all kind of illuminate the screen so you could photograph any notifications?
Yes, we did.
And is that what we see on states exhibit 289?
It is, yes.
And so just to point out some of these things, the very top one here where we can see, well, first of all, what is the timestamp at which y'all are documenting the illuminated cell phone?
That's 11:51 a.m. on Thursday, November 18th.
And so the very first notification here where you can see your camera spotted someone, is that the front doorbell camera that we previously saw in photos?
Yes, the Nest camera.
And again, was there any video you were able to recover in terms of saved video footage?
No, we were not.
And then similarly, where there's 32 minutes ago, person seen zone 1 side door camera, again, was that any sort of footage that you were able to actually retrieve saved images or videos from?
No footage was returned to us.
And based on the notifications and background, is that how you were able to determine this was Justin Hicks' cell phone?
Yes.
And this cell phone that we see in states 289 here, was that collected?
It was.
Let me show you states exhibit 606. Do you recognize state 606?
I do. It says it's a gray Apple iPhone belonging to Justin Hicks.
Is that from marker 1 in the crime scene photos that we're going through?
It is, yes.
Very good. And is that his actual cell phone that you all collected from the scene?
Yes, it is.
Right. State, and there's a biohazard sticker on here. What is that for?
Some sort of bodily fluid. It appeared to be blood on the phone.
State moves to tender State's Exhibit 606 into evidence.
Any objection? State 606 is admitted.
And did it appear, based on you physically being present at the scene and making the observations that you did, that Justin Hicks would have been able to get his phone to this location with possible blood on it?
No, it did not. Our assumption, based off the way the house looked, is that Jacob most likely moved the phone.
State's Exhibit 292 here. What area of the house are we now focusing on?
This is the playroom just to the left of the Christmas tree. So again, we're in the same room where the broken window was.
State's Exhibit 293. What do we see?
We see a pretty decent amount of children's toys spread out on the floor and a trampoline as well.
Throughout the rest of the home, did you see this volume of toys or mess?
No, this home was very clean, very orderly. Obviously, this area here and then where the toys had been moved into the living room where Justin and Amber were the only areas of the home that appeared to not be in order.
And based on how the toys appeared and things being dumped out, did it appear Jacob had been in this room?
Yes, to any of us that have had children, it appeared as if a child had been playing unsupervised.
Looking now at State's Exhibit 296, what did you all find underneath that trampoline?
There's a shell casing underneath it.
State's 297, is that a zoom in of that same shell casing?
Yes, it is.
Circle back to those in just a minute. Now, State's Exhibit 300. Was there additional kind of mess or disarray behind the trampoline?
Yeah, it looked as if possibly these storage cubes had been pulled out from that cubby area and then the toys dumped on the floor there and onto the trampoline.
State's Exhibit 301. Is that kind of a better image?
It is correct. We're standing over the trampoline now looking at the pile of toys.
And on top of the trampoline, this white object, what is that?
Another one of those storage cubes. It's just collapsed.
And is it underneath this trampoline that we just saw that casing?
Yes, it is.
State's Exhibit 302. What had Justin and Amber put up in their home in the playroom?
A fairly large Christmas tree.
And State's Exhibit, well, you can see it in State's Exhibit 302. Was that lit? I mean, did they have lights on?
Yes, the lights were on there.
And were
Appeared
those
as if they
lights,
were twinkling.
so not the steady lights, but
Correct.
kind of twinkle lights. Okay. And were those on when you all first arrived?
They were, yes, ma'am.
Now I want to make our way back towards the living room area, looking at States 81. And I know we've gone out of order here, but it made the most sense. So looking at States 81, what are we now looking at?
Okay, this is, we would be standing with our back to the couch where Justin and Amber are lying, looking at the fireplace.
And you had previously mentioned this baby gate. Was there any ability for that baby gate to be actually like locked into the fireplace, or was it just one that you kind of place in front?
It appeared it had just been placed there. I know there are hooks on the gate, but I don't recall any mounting area for it, any anchors.
The way that baby gate was when you all arrived, did it appear to be really protecting anything?
No, it had been moved.
State's Exhibit 82 here.
We're looking at obviously the built-in cabinetry to the right of the television.
Is this on the other side, State's 83?
Correct. That's the built-ins on the left of the television.
Now looking at State's 85, were there any toys around the area of the fireplace?
Yes, you had toys obviously inside the baby gate area and outside the baby gate area.
In State's Exhibit 84, you actually see some additional toys outside the baby gate area.
You do, yes, ma'am.
State's Exhibit 86, what is this blue object within the baby gate?
It's one of those collapsible tunnels that like a toddler can crawl through.
Did that appear kind of out of place in that location?
It did, yes, ma'am.
Just past the little tunnel, State's 87, what else was there?
We had a shard of glass laying right there, and then a projectile just to the right of it.
Based on the appearance of the point of entry, would it really have been possible for a shard of glass of this size to land in this particular area from within the living room?
No, that glass had to be carried there in one way or another.
State's 89. Is this kind of an attempted zoom into both the shard of glass and the projectile?
Yes, it is.
I know it's kind of difficult to see. Let me show you State's Exhibit 90. Or better yet, let's look at State's 91. State's Exhibit 91.
Yes, that's the projectile inside the baby gate, lying just to the right of that shard of glass that we saw.
State's Exhibit 601. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 601?
I do, yes. It says it's a projectile collected from the floor in the living room.
Is that what's seen in State's Exhibit 91?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
State moves to tender State 601 into evidence.
Any objection? State 601 is admitted.
State's Exhibit 92. What are we looking at in State's 92?
This is a dog bed just outside that baby gate area. So this would be to the left of the fireplace.
Did you all move that dog bed at all?
We did.
Okay, so looking at State's 92, is that before y'all had touched it or manipulated it?
Correct. That's how it was when we entered the home.
State's Exhibit 93, have y'all now moved it at this point?
We have.
All right. State's Exhibit 94, what is it that was located behind the dog bed?
That's another spent shell casing.
State's Exhibit 95, is that a zoom in of that same case?
Yes, it is.
Now looking at State's 305, what area of the house are we now standing?
So we're now standing. We had moved the couch and the rug at this point. So if you're looking around the right-hand side, we'd be going toward the front door of the home. And that's that Fisher-Price truck that we had seen lying just to the left of Justin originally.
And when you say lying to the left of Justin originally, was that more so in the doorway?
It was, yes. We had to move it as well.
And what is the purpose of moving items such as, something as big as a couch and a rug during the crime scene processing?
We're looking for any sort of evidence. Primarily at this point, we were attempting to find all the shell casings and projectiles that we could.
And did y'all go through kind of tedious and strenuous search efforts to find any additional casings or projectiles?
Yes, I believe we were on the scene until after midnight the following day. So quite some time attempting to find all the shell casings and projectiles.
Now, we can see here on the floor near the baseboard kind of two different markers. Did you all find anything of interest in that area?
Yes, there was fresh damage to the baseboard. Possibly a defect is why we photographed it.
Looking at State's 96, is that starting to zoom in on that area?
It is.
And is it customary whenever photographs are taken by one of your crime scene technicians to kind of zoom in on certain areas so that you don't lose your bearings?
Correct.
Looking at states 97, is this the most zoomed in image of that damage?
Yes, it is. You see some damage to the floor, and then obviously to it would appear to be a freshly painted baseboard.
Looking at states 98, which area are we now focused exclusively on?
Now we're looking at the baseboard,
And then states 99,
and that's the flooring just in front of it.
states 100 might be a little bit better lighting. What was noted on the floor?
It's an abrasion or a friction mark of some sort. Our thought process is a projectile could have skipped off the floor and hit the baseboard there.
And did those two markings, they're seen in states 97, relatively align with one another?
They did.
Now going back to states exhibit 305, did you find any projectile in that area at all?
No, we did not.
Can I have the attorney's approach for this one?
Yes.
Session. Thank you. Everyone please be seated.
We are back on the record for the state of Georgia versus Matthew Scott Lanz, 22-00922. Present in the open courtroom of the court, the clerk of court reporter, Mr. Lanz, represented by attorney Jimmy Berry, and the state is represented by Assistant District Attorney Grady Horowitz. Good afternoon, everyone. Is there anything we need to put on the record before we proceed?
Not from the city, Your Honor.
No,
Thank you. All right, and it was ADA Green. You can continue with your direct of your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Sergeant, kind of blow through a lot of these a little bit quicker here. Looking at states 101, what area of the house are we in? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, we are standing on the side of the couch, closer toward the fireplace, looking into the kitchen.
In states 102,
That's in the kitchen, looking toward the dining room, and that's a desk area there inside the kitchen.
states 103,
Now we're looking at the island in the kitchen, still with our back to the couch.
states 104,
Now to the left of the island, the range,
states 105,
and now to the far left side of the kitchen.
states 106,
That's a dog food bowl.
states 107,
And it looks like a children's table with a bench and a tote there on top.
States 109, is this that same area?
It is, yes.
Okay, and how are the blinds for that window looking out onto the patio?
They're partially closed, we'll say.
States 110.
Now we're looking through the kitchen into the dining room.
States 112.
That's back in the kitchen looking at the desk area. You can see the laundry room in the background.
States 113. Were there items of value in this area?
Yes, you had Amber's purse, you had a diaper bag there, you had an iPad.
Do you recall if there were keys to the Justin's truck in this area?
I do believe there were, yes.
Did any of that seem disturbed or rummaged through or anything?
No, it did not. It appeared to be in order.
States 116 here. Who did that backpack belong to?
It's a black backpack that we learned belonged to Justin Hicks.
Once again, was there anything rummaged through with the backpack?
It did not appear so, no.
States 117.
Now we're on the far side of the kitchen island here. Looking at that would be the back of the house is what we're looking at.
States 118.
Again, and kind of focusing in on that open lower cabinet.
And what is it that was located near that open cabinet?
We have one more shell casing.
States 120. Well, probably not this one. Let's do this. States 122. Is that the casing?
Yes, ma'am.
And states 123. That kind of zoomed into that area.
Yeah, correct, it is.
We'll circle back to that in a little bit. Looking at states 124, what area are you now kind of heading towards?
Heading back toward the laundry room of the home.
Now, looking at the hinge that's barely seen in states 124, is that the same door we see in states 125?
Yes, it is. That's the garage door.
And what was on the garage door in states 126?
That's a child lock.
States 127, what was being photographed here?
It's the ADT alarm panel.
States 129. Is this how it displayed at the time that officers arrived on scene?
Yes, to the best of my knowledge, it is.
States 130, what was found kind of on the floor in this bottom right quadrant as well as closer to the laundry room?
There's dog feces.
States 131 here.
And now we're continuing past the door that we were just speaking about and looking into the laundry room.
States 131 here, what did you have on that door?
Another child lock.
That was seen in 132?
Correct.
All right, and inside that closet, what type of items were inside?
Household clean. That's where you keep like your vacuum, your mop.
And that's looking at states 133. States 136. What was inside the laundry room?
Obviously, you have a washer and dryer, and it appeared they were getting their Christmas decorations out to decorate the house.
Once again, did anything within the laundry room seem rummaged with?
It did not, no.
States 137. What door are we looking at here?
So we're in the laundry room, and this is the door to the side door of the home where we saw the delivered package was.
States 139. Is that a zoom of the same door?
Correct, and again with the same child lock we saw on all exterior doors.
And what about the blinds?
They were closed.
Kind of backing up a little bit here, looking at states 141. Remind us what door this is.
That should be the door into the garage.
States 140, what are we looking into now?
Now we're looking out into the garage.
States 143,
Now again, we're continuing into the garage. We saw a fishing boat. Obviously, you see a bicycle, a lot of totes, some children's toys, children's bicycle.
were there valuables within this garage?
Yes, there were.
Was anything taken?
No.
States 149.
Now we're looking back into the dining room. So this is the walkway in between the kitchen and into the dining room. We see Jacob's high chair there.
States 151 here.
Again, continuing in the dining room. That's the open front door you see.
States 152 here. What is the, like on the banister, these white things that you can see?
That's where you attach a baby gate for the stairs.
States 153. What do we see here?
There you go. That's the other side of the attachment of the baby gate.
And from where this photo is taken, like what would be behind your back?
The front door, directly behind.
Looking at states 154 here, where again, kind of what is the vantage point of where this photo is?
Okay, so where we just were with the stairwell, this is going to the left, and so you're going to be walking into the main living room. Also, you see Justin's feet lying there. We have the children's fire department hat and the fire truck that we talked about earlier.
In states 155, that kind of zoomed in at that area.
Correct, it is.
And from looking at states 157 here, did that little Type's fire truck block the walkway to get kind of around that corner into the kitchen area?
It did, correct.
States 158, what door is this?
That's a bathroom door.
States 159, what did you find from within the bathroom?
Okay, so this is just off where we were looking at where that child's fireman's helmet is, just to the left of it. The guest bathroom downstairs there. Obviously, the bathroom was a mess, which was different from majority of the home other than the toys. The toilet paper holder had appeared ripped off the wall. Looks like it probably been put in the toilet at some point, then removed from the toilet, and several children's toys lying on the floor in there. I believe there were a couple of books, a plushie toy, a hand puppet. You see the little lawnmower there.
Okay, so states 160 and 161, is that zooming in on those kids' items?
It is, yes ma'am.
And then you also mentioned the toilet paper roll looking at states 162. Is that what we see pulled off the wall?
Correct.
States 163 here. Tell us a little bit, well actually, let me show you states 164. Tell us a little bit more about kind of the toilet paper and how it appeared.
Yeah, it obviously had gotten wet and then was strewn across the ground there. Our assumption was obviously the closest source of water was the toilet, so it had been pulled off the wall, put into the toilet, and removed from the toilet.
States 1, and by the way, states 164, was there anything actually in the toilet?
Not that I can see.
Okay. No clogging or any sort of mass objects or anything?
No, nothing like that. No, ma'am.
States 165.
That's the sink in the same bathroom.
It states 166 here. What is kind of being shown in terms of
So it's showing
location?
the proximity obviously to the living room where the deceased were located. So the bathroom is right there on the left, right before you walk into the living room.
States 167.
Now we're looking at the door frame there going around it and a foreign substance that we photographed on the wall.
Now kind of backing up just a little bit, we're looking at 169. Where is this office located in relation to the front door?
Directly to the left. So what you see here on the left-hand corner is actually the front door open. That's the keypad down there. So if you came in through the front door, the stairwell's directly in front of you. This is directly to your left, and the bathroom is on the other side of it there.
States 170.
Yep, we're looking now inside the office.
States 173.
Now we're looking at the floor of the office toward the front of the home, and it's the backing to an electronic device laying on the floor.
States 175.
That's a close-up of the backing of the electronic device.
We'll circle back to that in a moment here. Did you all go through some of the drawers in the office?
Yes, we did.
And once again, did it appear anyone had opened those drawers or gone through them?
No, they all appear to be in order and organized.
States 178.
This is we're looking at the front door, and then that would be the office directly there to the right.
States 180.
There's a liquid that we believe to most likely be urine, probably from the dog.
And was that in some other areas of the home as well?
It was.
States 181.
Now we're looking at the front door is closed. That's the dining room to the left where you see the luggage at.
And once again, was there a baby lock on the front door?
Correct. The same baby lock we saw on all the exterior doors.
And the blinds on the side, what was... were
They're
they-
closed.
States 186. What was located kind of on the stairs?
That's a label maker, which we were able to match up to the backing found on the floor of the office.
States 193 and 194, are those close-up images of that same item?
Correct. That's the label maker on the stairs.
Did y'all know how it may have gotten there?
No, but we knew that Jacob had been alone in that home for several hours, so our assumption is the same way the toys were moved about, the label maker was probably moved there by Jacob.
Looking at States 187, what do we have open here on States 187?
The baby gate is open.
And looking at States 189, how has that baby gate been moved by you all for documentation purposes?
Yep, that's in it. It is in the closed position there.
Now, when you all and officers arrived on scene, was that open or closed?
It was open when I got there, and from what I recall from the responding officers, they also found it open.
Making our way upstairs, what are we looking at on the floor in States 196?
That is another baby gate lying on the floor.
States 197?
There's the same baby gate.
Now, does this one have the same sort of blocking mechanisms that the one on the bottom of the stairs had?
No, it appears to be the type that wedges in between two banisters.
States 198, whose bedroom is this?
We're now in Jacob's bedroom.
States 199, what kind of bed did Jacob have?
It's a toddler bed that obviously allows him to get in and out on his own.
States 200.
Again, looking at his bedroom and his toys and his bookshelf there,
States 201.
and then continuing around to the other wall.
What was significant to you about kind of his toys and how his room appeared compared to the downstairs?
Everything was in its place. It was a very clean bedroom. The toys were all, and the books were all organized and put away, and nothing was strewn about. Obviously, we have downstairs where there was toys spread out everywhere, pulled off the shelves.
States 202. What's this here in the corner?
It's a humidifier and the baby monitor.
States 207.
There you go. That's the baby monitor.
Was this the corresponding baby monitor to the actual monitor downstairs?
Yes, it was the one lying on the couch next to Amber's right arm.
States 203.
It's a diaper changing station.
States 209. Did y'all find any blood stains or anything indicative of Jacob getting back into his bed at any point in time?
No, the upstairs did not resemble the downstairs home at all.
States 211.
This is looking into Justin and Amber's bedroom from the hallway.
States 212.
Same now, just turning to your right.
States 213.
And then continuing into the master bedroom.
States 214. Was there a bed made?
Yes, it was.
States 215.
A dresser inside of the master bedroom.
We can see that at least two of the drawers aren't completely closed. Did it appear clothes had been strewn about or unfolded or anything within the drawers?
It did not. The drawers appeared to be organized.
States 216.
This is entering from the bedroom into the master bathroom.
States 217.
It's the master closet.
States 218. Where are you starting to zoom into here?
There's a handgun sitting on top of that safe.
States 219. Is that kind of a zoom in of that gun?
It is.
And then what was the item back behind this gun?
I believe it was a love letter.
States 220. Is that a copy of that letter?
It is.
Okay, and what was the date?
It shows November 16th, 2021.
And why did this letter matter to you all from November 16th of 2021?
Obviously, that's one day before when we know the crime to have occurred, but it's a letter that it appears Amber had written toward Justin. It showed what appeared to be a healthy marriage and happy marriage.
Based on your analysis of the scene, were you able to identify any obvious leads?
No. The scene was unique in that someone obviously had been, being Jacob, a 2-year-old, inside of it alone for several hours. That's not normally how we would come upon a scene like that. We had a large amount of time, even not knowing really when the actual murders occurred, to when we located the scene. So we knew what we were looking at was most likely not the original state of the scene.
Now I want to kind of go back for just a minute here. Going back briefly to states 282 and 283, whose phone is depicted in states 282 and 283?
That is Amber Hicks' phone.
I'm going to show you state 605. we put this one in yet. State 605. Do you recognize State 605?
I do. It's marked as a white Apple iPhone belonging to Amber Hicks.
Is that the phone that we see in states 282 and states 283?
Yes,
Was that collected on scene?
it was.
And likewise, this has one of the biohazard stickers. Why is that?
Because it also had what we believe to be a bodily fluid, most likely blood, on the phone.
State is Tender State 605 in evidence.
Objection?
No, Your Honor.
State 605 is admitted.
Well, I'm grabbing a couple pictures. I'm going to hand you states 602, 603, and 604. Do you recognize those packages?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how is it that you recognize states 602 to 604?
They're marked as each being a spent 9mm shell casing.
Okay, and how many were collected on scene?
3 were collected on scene.
And are those what I've handed you there in states exhibit 602 through 604?
Yes, they are.
And are those the 3 casings that we've also seen in photographs previously?
Yes, they are.
Statement is to tender state 602, 603, and 604 in evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
State 602, 603, and 604 admitted.
I want to go back and kind of look at this case a step back. Based on the scene here, you said how many casings were recovered?
3.
And were they all 9mm?
Yes, they were.
And you mentioned looking back at states 221. Where was one of those casings found?
We have one that was found just inside the baby gate area.
We'll start with the
Excuse me.
casings. We'll go to check out in a minute.
Sorry, yes, we're talking shell cases. If you could show to the left here is where the dog bed is. So it would be just at the feet of Justin.
That would be 602.
This is 221. Let's see. All right, let's look at 84 at the same time. So looking at 84, you said one was behind the dog bed.
Correct.
Okay. Where was the other one?
So we have one behind the dog bed, one underneath the trampoline that you see in the background there.
Okay. And then where was
The third one was in the kitchen, near that open kitchen cabinet.
states 119?
Correct, right there. That would be the third shell casing we found.
Now, based on your review of this scene and impression, did it appear that those 3 casings were all in their original position, meaning where they would have fallen when ejected from the firearm?
No, it did not. I think the one behind the dog bed could have been, based off where the victims were and where they were shot. The one at the trampoline and then also the one in the kitchen, I don't see how that could be where they landed when ejected from the gun. I believe they had to have been moved.
And kind of walking through that slowly, looking where Justin's body came to a rest there, well, let me back up. I apologize. Let me grab one more photo here. Were you able to make any sense of States Exhibit 96 here?
There is Yes, there's a reasonable explanation for why that defect is there.
Can you explain how you might get this particular defect in States 96?
Yeah, I believe from when we recreated the scene that it's most likely from the projectile that passed through into the right side of Justin and passed out through his left side of his abdomen. The other ones, I don't see how any of the other rounds that were through and through gunshot wounds could have struck that floorboard there.
With respect to Amber's body positioning, did it make sense to you at all that a bullet could have gone through her body and landed in this baseboard area in States 96?
No, I believe the couch, we would have seen damage on the couch where that would have occurred.
And so did that leave you with looking at Justin's gunshot wounds?
Yes, it did.
And which was the only one that was through and through on Justin's body that it could have ended up hitting this baseboard area?
So that was the one that entered his lower right side and exited out the left side.
Now, had he been standing approximately where he came to arrest here, can you get kind of a trajectory that would have continued on in this direction?
Yes, I believe he was standing where his feet were and his body was turned to look over his right shoulder toward that broken window. I believe that it's possible that that round could have entered through his right side, out his left in a downward trajectory and struck the baseboard.
Kind
Correct.
of in this direction where my pen
Yes, ma'am.
faced? So was it your belief kind of being there on scene and being able to really see from the vantage point he was standing at, I guess, what does it seem like he was doing at that time?
At that time, it appeared that he had stood, I don't know if he had stood up from being on the couch or if he was already standing, but it appeared he would have been standing and then turning to the right to look back toward that broken window when that round entered through his right side, out his left side, and struck the baseboard.
Now, given that you have this defect here in the baseboard that we see in States 97, was there any, did the projectile go all the way through that drywall?
No, it did not.
So would you have expected to find a projectile very close to this area?
Yes.
Looking at the projectiles in this case, where is it that you found the only projectile that could have correlated to that defect in the wall?
Just on the other side of the baby gate that you see there.
That looking at States 88 here?
Yes, it is.
Really close up one. States 91, is that what we're seeing also in States 88 and 89?
Correct, it is.
How could it have gotten to this particular area where States 88, 89, and 91 are?
I think it's very likely it was moved by Jacob, since we have so many things moved around. That does not appear to be its natural resting position.
And what else was close to that projectile?
Yeah, we got a pretty large shard of glass there.
Did it seem that that was an unnatural placement from where that shard of glass originated from?
It does.
Now, the other projectile, if you recall that one, do you remember where that one was?
Yes, the other projectile would be lying on the couch in between Amber's right arm and her right hip.
Did that seem like a more natural placement and had come to arrest where it actually came to arrest?
It did, yes, ma'am.
And so how many total projectiles were recovered on scene?
2 were recovered from the scene.
And ultimately, how many projectiles did y'all end up with in the case in total once the autopsy were conducted?
5 total.
So 5 total projectiles, but only 3 casings?
Correct, 3 cases.
Now, we saw that in talking about the fact y'all moved the couch, you moved the rug and so forth, Is it possible you all just didn't find these other two casings?
It's always possible. I don't know if we have searched harder for them. I think we even disassembled a Roomba that was inside the house looking for it. We searched everywhere we could possibly search to look for those shell casings and could not locate them.
Is it possible those were picked up?
Yes, it is very possible they were removed from the scene.
And based on kind of Amber's positioning, was there any evidence that she ever really moved off the couch?
No, it did not appear so. Her positioning appeared more natural than Justin's did.
I know you mentioned that there was at least one handgun in the closet. Were there other firearms in this house?
I believe there were, yes, ma'am. All in that upstairs closet, I believe.
And to the best of your knowledge, were any firearms taken from the residence?
Yes.
Well, meaning from whoever committed this crime?
No, not in a theft manner. Sorry, collected by us. Yes, not in a theft manner.
I want to talk to you about Jacob Hicks. When you went out there on scene, was he still there?
Yes, he was still there. He was with his grandparents when I got there.
And how did he appear?
He was in his pajamas, which were covered in blood. A considerable amount of blood on them.
Prior to testifying, did you have the opportunity to look through states 306 through 320?
I did.
And did you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
And how did you recognize those photographs?
Those are the pajamas that we took off of Jacob.
Are they fair and accurate pictures of how his pajamas appeared after he was removed from the residence on November 18th of 2021?
Yes, they are.
State moves to tender states 306 through 320 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, objection, good.
States 306 to 320 were admitted.
May I publish?
Yes.
So first looking at states 306 here, what side of the PJs are we on?
So this is the front side of them.
Okay. And what do we see in this area of the legs?
Yeah, a significant pattern of blood in the, I would say, like the knee area of the pajamas.
Okay. What about on the front of the shirt?
Yep, same as well. Quite a bit there on the chest, and then shoulders, arms.
State 307, is that a zoomed in photo?
Yes, it is.
All right, state 308.
Yes, again, looking at it.
States 309, I know some of this has somewhat of a glare.
Yes. We're still looking at the blood stains on the pajamas.
States 310.
Again.
Skipping ahead to states 315, what do we see here?
So these are the pajama pants looking just inside the waistband. Obviously, we see blood on the inside and outside, it appears.
States 317.
This is now the back side of the pajamas. And we have blood that more or less corresponds to how the front of them were. We've got blood on the front, the back, the inside, the outside, all over them.
States 319, is that kind of a zoomed in view?
Correct, that's the back side of them.
What was significant to you about the blood and the location of the blood on Jacob's pajamas?
I think what I took from it is that transfer was not from one time of touching his deceased parents. To me, to get that amount of blood in the places that the blood is would indicate that Jacob most likely crawled on his parents' bodies after they had been killed, which probably explains why the toys were placed in the manner where they were on them.
What about kind of this area, this like under the arm and on the back side of the arm.
Correct. Even in the underarm there, like you're talking about on the back side, both of them, as if possibly he could have wrapped his arms around an area of his parents that was bleeding.
Were there any injuries to Jacob that would have caused him to have his own blood on his jammies?
No, he had no injuries.
Now, do you recall by the time you got there whether the blood on Jacob's jammies was wet?
By the time I got there, he did not, obviously that stage were never taken back to the lab and photographed, so that's much more dry than we were there. So it was more wet than that, yes.
Do you remember whether it appeared like super fresh versus having been on his jammies?
No, it appeared it had been there for a while.
Now, did you also kind of take additional exterior photos on a separate day, or I should say, supervise that process of taking additional photographs on a separate day?
Yes, the following day on the 19th, myself and another crime scene technician went back to the home. By the time we had finished processing the scene that day, it was very dark on the 18th. Because we were into the early morning hours of the 19th. So I wanted to go back during daylight hours, get some more overalls, and then to search the area with metal detectors to see if there's any evidence, such as the missing shell casings that we could not find. Because my thought was if the perpetrator could have removed them and dropped them while running, maybe we could find them.
Prior to testifying, did you have the opportunity to look at State's Exhibits 608 through 641?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And are those the photographs that you just referenced?
They are.
Are those fair and accurate photographs of the ones you all took on November 19th of 2021?
Yes, they are.
Okay. State moves to tender State 608 through 641.
Is there any objection?
No. No.
State 608 through 641 are admitted.
We'll make this very brief here, but looking at State 610 here, where is this photograph being taken from?
This is the front of the home on the street.
And within these photographs, looking at 616, did you also document some of the additional censored floodlights?
Yes, we did. We went around and documented anything, essentially security-wise, around the home.
And is that an example there in State 616?
Correct. That is, if you're looking at the corner to the left of it's the front of the house. Obviously, this is the garage door to the right of us.
Looking at State 621 here, what was the purpose of this view?
So that's standing where that trash can is the driveway. So the cars would be to the truck would be to the right of it. So I'm standing in the backyard, attempting to show how much coverage there was from the backyard and how difficult it would be to see someone in the backyard from the roadway or a neighbor's home.
And then similarly, looking at State 626, what was the purpose of State 626?
Again, we're just deeper into the backyard here, but we're looking at these floodlights that are mounted on the corner of the home.
In States 627, what are you starting to get close to here on the right side of the image?
We're going to start getting to that sunroom. It's going to be coming up on the right-hand side. You can see Justin's black truck there on the left. And you can see the motion light is actually on from me standing there.
State 629 here, and it's a little bit hard to see, but what is kind of through these bushes?
From where we're standing, we're looking through the backyard at the house directly behind, which is the Lanz residence.
State 629 to 631, is this kind of a continuation photo?
Yes, it is.
And so here we can see the vehicle through the bushes. What street would that have been on?
Believe if I'm looking through that way, I don't want to speak wrong on that. It could be Delegating, but I'm not sure what that cross street is running right there.
Let's see, state 632.
Again, we're just showing the heavy amount of tree coverage and foliage that kind of made a little backyard oasis there. There was no scene in or out of that.
And then state 636 and state 637. What's being documented here and from what vantage point?
So this is standing on the driveway's to the left there. So standing out on the street, looking into the backyard of the Hicks. So this would be the visual from the neighbor's home right there or anyone driving by.
And then states 640 here. Whose house is this still in the corner on the left side?
That would be the Hicks home.
And so is this looking towards their kind of back door neighbor?
Correct, yes ma'am.
Now, while y'all were out there, were you able to locate any casings, firearms, cigarette butts, anything of value?
No, we did not locate any evidence outside on the secondary search at all.
I think that is all that I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Attorney Barry, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
You indicated to us that you had a team or a number of people with you that went out and did the search.
Yes, sir.
And how long had you been a crime scene technician at that point?
So I was a supervisor of the crime scene technician. I have had the training, but that's never been my full-time job. But at that point in time, I have been supervising that unit since 2019.
Okay. And how many crime scenes had you processed at that point? You remember?
I don't know how to tell you that. I can tell you that on average, I probably responded to anywhere from 20 to 30 homicides alone a year. So leading up to that point from 2019 up to 2021, probably at least 60 homicides alone.
Okay. Was the dog still there when you arrived?
The dog was not loose inside the home, but I believe the dog was still there. Yes, sir.
Okay. And was the dog barking at you when you got there?
Not at me, no, sir.
Had you been given information that the first officer on the scene, the dog was loose and barking at that point?
Yes, sir. We had been told that by those officers.
Let's talk a little bit about what you saw when you initially got there with the broken glass. It's double-pane glass.
Yes, sir.
So it doesn't shatter quite like just a regular pane of glass.
Correct.
Fair to say.
Yes, sir.
And it came out in pretty good sized chunks.
Yes, sir, it did.
The majority of the glass was on the inside, on the floor area where the little slide goes down.
Yes, sir.
But we saw glass that was kind of all over the house.
All over the main floor, yes, sir.
And you indicated the child didn't have any cuts on his hands or feet.
Not that I saw, no, sir.
So is it your belief that the child moved that glass to the different areas, or how do you account for the fact that the glass got moved different places?
Yeah, my belief would be either the child or the dog would have had to have moved it. I don't know how it could have gotten to some of those other points. Obviously, some glass could stay on someone's clothing with movement, but not the amount of large pieces that we saw that far away from the entry point.
Okay. And one of the shell casings, and I want to go through because I'm a little confused as to which shell casing belongs to which one of your documents. So,
Okay.
let's look at shell casing 602. Where did that one come from?
You want to know exactly which location in the home?
Correct.
It's going to be tough for me to compare a state's exhibit number to our internal reporting. Obviously, it just says that it's a 9mm spent cartridge with a Ruger head stamp recovered from the Hicks residence. But the GDI, that's ATF, Department of Justice stamping on it does not tell me the exact location.
So we don't know where shell casing 602, 603, and 604 were located, correct? We just know that they were found in 3 different locations, but we can't compare that to where they were.
I cannot do it sitting here. I'm sure it can be done from looking at our internal records, but no, sir, I cannot do it sitting here.
Okay. One of your jobs and responsibilities is to look for potential fingerprints, handprints.
Yes, sir.
And did you do that?
Yes, sir, we did.
And what areas did you test to see if you could find any fingerprints?
I know that we obviously concentrated quite a bit on the entry point, the window right here, the window sill, a couple of larger pieces of glasses that we thought could possibly have any type of valuable prints on them. And then anywhere else inside the home that the crime scene technician would see fit, but the majority of it was focused on that back window, and I believe we did the back door as well, wondering if someone attempted to open the door, seeing if it was unlocked before breaking the window.
Okay. Were you able to locate any fingerprints?
Not of identifiable value, no, sir.
Okay. And you identified the entry point, which you believe is through that window that was broken.
Yes, sir.
And do you believe the person exited through that same?
I do believe that, yes, sir.
Okay. But they could have opened the door and locked it behind them.
Yes, sir. The doors were locked when the first uniform officers responded there, so if the door was locked behind them. Now, I do believe the ADT report does not show that door opening. I don't recall directly, but I'm pretty sure we have a report from ADT that shows it was not open until the responding officers opened it.
Okay, which door would that be?
The door, if you're looking at the broken window, the door directly to the left of it, so the back patio door.
What about the front door?
The front door does not show any activity until obviously police officers are there going in and out.
Okay. So did the ADT report show any door anyone had exited?
No, sir.
And you were not able to see that window, what amount of glass was still in the window when the first officer arrived?
No, sir, I was not.
When you arrived, you told us that the Christmas tree lights were on.
Yes, sir.
Flickering lights. Was there a light on in that playroom?
I don't believe there was one, sir. It was daylight by the time I got there, but I don't remember there being one on.
And do you recall whether there were any lights on in the living room where the TV was?
I do not recall. Only the TV. I do know the TV was on, but no, sir, I do not recall any other lights on.
So we don't know exactly which lights may have been on.
Correct.
All right. In order to bust one of the windows, the double-pane glass, you gotta hit it pretty hard.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to locate any instrument that may have been able to knock that window out?
We did not find anything at the scene, no, sir.
No rocks or sticks or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
If you used, say, the butt of a gun to do that, would there normally be glass that would be embedded somewhere in that gun?
Normally there would be, yes, sir. Yeah, if it's a polymer gun, obviously if it was metal, probably not, but a polymer gun, yes, sir.
Did you ever send the gun that was found that belonged to Mr. Lanz, did you ever send that to the crime lab?
I believe it was sent to the crime lab, yes, sir.
And do you know whether there was any glass found in the handle or anywhere around that gun?
I do not recall any glass being found there, yes, sir.
Did anyone look at that Adirondack chair that was there on the back? It looked like it was askew from where it should be. Anybody look at that to see whether it had any damage to it that may have been used?
We did, yes, sir. It's a plastic chair, so we weren't sure how effective it would be, but we did pick it up and look at it to see if possible. We did not believe it could be possible.
Okay, not able to determine whether, in fact, that may have been used.
Correct, sir.
The gate going from the little play area there into the living room, it appeared as though that it was pushed down, but pushed down from the living room area rather than pushed back towards the living room.
Correct, sir. That's the way it looks like it fell into the playroom.
Okay. The person who entered and fired the shot, would they have had to have gone past that in order to fire the shot?
Yes, sir. I believe they would have, yes, sir.
All right, so they would have had to have stepped over the gate.
Yes, sir.
The first shot, can you, from your calculations there, can you tell whether the first shot was fired from?
No, I cannot, sir.
Okay. The person would have had to have come in, stepped over the gate to have fired the shot, the second shot.
That's how I interpreted the crime scene, yes, sir.
Okay. Was there any other report from ADT that aided y'all in any way? I mean, do they have an alarm system?
Yes, they did, and it showed, yes, sir, motion activations, doors, yes, anything like that, yes, sir.
Okay. And did you see anything in that ADT report about the motions outside at any particular time?
Not during the window of the crime, no, sir.
Okay. So there's not an alarm, and when the window gets broken, there's no alarm that goes off.
Yeah, we did not see a glass breakage, and I did not see that on the ADT report, no, sir.
Okay. It does appear, it looks like that the window was broken from the outside in, however.
It does appear that way, yes, sir.
And the shell casings, the 3 shell casings that you found being in different areas, I think you indicated that you believe they may have been kicked around by Jacob the dog. Don't know.
Yes, sir. Responding officers, anybody, but the only one that I believed appeared to be in a natural resting position is the one behind the dog bed.
Okay. Because you believe that would be close to where someone may have been standing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other 2 shell casings, you believe that there were 5 shots fired?
Yes, sir, we did.
I didn't find any other bullets that entered the wall or anything of that nature where there may have been more than 5 fired.
No, sir, we did not. 5 was what we determined to be.
Okay. So 2 shell casings were missing.
Correct.
And do you know from what area those may have been missing from? In other words, if the first shot was fired, do you believe it was more than 1 shot fired initially before one got over the gate?
I think that most likely the mission shell casings will probably be in front of the couch area, between the couch and the fireplace. That would be my assumption, in between the deceased and the fireplace, somewhere in that area.
The state asked you about the possibility of somebody carrying them off, or a lot of things could happen.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, Jacob could have picked those up and flushed them down the floor.
He could have.
Okay. If you were going to pick up 2, and you knew that there were 3 more, it makes sense that you want to pick them all up. Right?
Yes, sir. He's 2 years old. It's a shiny object. So I would think he would be inclined, yes, sir, to pick them up.
If you were the one doing the shooting, if you wanted to pick up 2, you would naturally want to pick them all up, would you?
I think if time allowed you, you absolutely would. Yes, sir.
Okay. You indicated that there was some foreign substance on the wall. Did you take any of that foreign substance to have it tested? You know what that may have been?
Yes, sir. We sent 3 from 3 different locations in the home where we believed could have been blood based off foreign substance. 1 in the kitchen from the kitchen floor came back as positive for blood. 1 came back as inconclusive, and 1 came back as negative.
Okay. So from the positioning of the bodies in the case, you believe that the first shots were fired initially coming into the house. Because one naturally would, if they're sitting on the couch, going to jump up if you got a loud bang like the glass breaking.
Yes, sir.
You want to jump up and see what was going on.
Yes, sir.
And then the person entered through the window and initially then fired the shots.
Yes, sir. That's how I interpret it. It would most likely be that first shot that I believe struck the floorboard passing through Justin from right to left.
And then moved on into the house over the gate.
Over the gate, yes, sir.
Now, was there anything else that you found in the house other than the shell casings and the projectiles? You already indicated that there was no fingerprints. Didn't find any cigarette butts, didn't find any DNA of any kind inside the house.
Correct, sir.
And this ADT, I noticed there were lights that would come on if you get a certain distance to the house. Do you know what that distance would be?
I do not know what that is. I know that I activated all of them as I ran around the home, but no, sir, I didn't test the distance.
Okay. And is there a light that's affixed close to where the broken window is?
Yes, sir. There's one on that side of the house.
Okay. So that probably would have come on first.
I would think so, yes, sir.
Did you have an occasion to go back over to the house other than, you went over on the 18th and went back over on the 19th? Were you ever called to go back over there again?
I was not, no, sir.
And did you ever go over to the Lanz house to do any forensics at their home?
I was not a part of that search, no, sir.
Okay. Okay, that's all I have for you, Sergeant. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
88, is there any follow-up or redirect?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wynn is excused.
Yes, please.
All right,
Okay.
okay. Can I have a little approach? You can sit down when you're excused.
Thank you, ma'am.